Gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Smite. Today we have a very special occasion as this is the very first match of the Australian Cybergamer League for Smite Conquest, or rather any Smite mode, but definitely Conquest as it is the competitive mode. So our two heroes for today, they're going to be Team Incite. That's our blue team on the left side of town. Name change is our Arachne, Sporks as the Aphrodite, Subfloor Drugs as the ADC Chuck, which is interesting, and I'll talk about that just a little bit later. Biggie is the Sylvanus. Temperwolf will be playing the Agni. As for the red team, Team Kamikaze, that's Zuckerberg as the Odin Picklefinger, as the Zhongqi, Sintage is the Freya, Gruff Dogger as the Athena, and lastly, Red Oxide as our Anher. As for me, I am the machine of the GeneralsGentlemen. It's 3 hours until Christmas, and here I am casting Smite. Excited to be here. So, let's go ahead and talk about this Chuck ADC. Interesting, definitely off meta by all means. He is very high bully and high sustain. With his throwing axes, with his rain dance, he really can stick around in that lane, poke as well as pushing the lane pretty hard. Especially with the Sylvanus, he's going to be having even better poke, having those AoE auto attacks from Sylvanus, having those wisps. So it's definitely interesting. We'll have to see how it does pay off. Generally, whenever you run a non-hunter ADC, you do sacrifice a lot of that single target damage, which mitigates some of your potential to push those towers and really chunk down those objectives, but it can transition pretty well into those team fights, being able to have another really solid frontliner. But it's definitely interesting, and let's see how it pays off here. It's going to be against an Anhur and an Athena, so Anhur has a very strong early game as well. Really able to have that power spike at level 5 with the Desert Fury, and already off to a good start. Subfloor Drugs and Biggie pushing their lane right up to the tower.
There is no escape.
As for the other lanes, Agni versus Zhongqi. It's interesting. Agni is going to be a lot more mobile, so he's going to be able to rotate much easier, having that dash, where Zhongqi, he's more of that bruisier teamfight presence with his ultimate. Nice grab coming through from Biggie. Can they make something happen from this one? Not really, just throwing the axes around. Not exactly the best all-in at such a low level, but able to poke effectively. On the right lane, though, we do see Arachne and Aphrodite going to be poking out this lane. Aphrodite just has such a strong lane presence. Not really the most damage, but it's consistent damage, and it's hard to push her out of the lane because of the sustain with those lovebirds. Odin very, very bursty, very aggressive as well, but Aphrodite should be a good counter to that. Sinti's getting pretty low here. Arachne has some really good sustained chase ability with the slows, and eventually stun if you get that last auto attack in. So we'll already force the back. So definitely putting the pressure on Incite, looking like they're off to a good start in terms of the aggressive momentum. Let's see if they can keep it up. Looking at the items, we do have... Oh, I haven't actually rearranged the scoreboard. Oh dear. That makes life just so much more difficult. So we have Boots and Vampiric Scepter, so no one's going to be going for that Warlock Sash really fast. It's something you do see on mid laners sometimes, is just really wanting to get that health and that magical power stacking up. But the sustain can be a lot more important in a pretty high poke lane. Also having the Boots makes it a lot easier to dodge those abilities. Freya's moving in for a gank. Arachne's already there, so it won't be too antsy by the looks of it. Banish hasn't actually been leveled yet. Banish has been leveled. Sometimes you see that leveled really late for the sake of just faster clear. Other than that, Odin, he falls off really mid to late game. So whenever you run an Odin, there's always a lot of pressure to really make the most of him and get him rolling, get him getting those kills and start to snowball. Otherwise, he can just fall off really hard. He doesn't really have much to bring to the table if he doesn't start to snowball, because he doesn't really have much tankiness. His Ring of Spears traps him in it, so if he isn't able to survive getting focused, then he can just drop and not really able to make use of that ultimate. And then also the burst starts to sort of wane away. The Subfloor Dog's in a bit of trouble. He will have to dash away from that one. Pops the Rain Dance for the sustain. Banish will connect, but no follow-up. So definitely some interesting picks here. And so these are pretty two top-tier teams as well. Already showing themselves to be definitely the strongest in Australia. There's been a couple of pretty low-key tournaments. The Joust tournament, which Team Kamikaze picked up, as well as the Conquest tournament, which Incite picked up. So they both have a tournament under their belts. So the stakes are high for the bragging rights, if nothing else, I guess. Only the first round. Plenty of rounds to come in the Cybergamer ladder. Fair bit of teams on up as well. About 15 when I last checked, so it's pretty cool. I think with Cybergamer down, there should be a lot more teams taking the Smite scene a bit more seriously, practicing a lot more, and actually having something to really work their way upwards and start to play for something more than just the fun, because generally not many people play ranked because there isn't enough people in Australia's scene at least. So other than that, we do have a bit of a gank in our right lane. Ring of Spears has gone down. Aphrodite doesn't have time to pop the ultimate, or was already activated rather, so not able to live long enough to disengage from that one. That's really the burst of Odin, and the Ring of Spears, it is so strong early game because preventing you from running away when you die so fast in the early game is brutal, especially when towards the late game you generally have a lot more tankiness, so getting caught in that Ring of Spears isn't quite as lethal, especially before you get any of the active, say, an Aegis beads or something like that. So First Blood has gone over to Gruffdogger on the Athena. Not exactly ideal, but it will get her those Midas boots just that little bit sooner. Mid-Harpies already were taken. Wards are being placed down as well, so there's some pretty good vision. Definitely very, very important. A lot of them here around the Gold Fury, especially on the left side of the jungle rather than the right side, which definitely makes a lot of sense. Having the Gold Fury area warded is much more important. Bit of a rotation coming through to the mid lane. Biggie leaving his lane. Just leaving subfloor drugs to solo farm. He's consistently putting the pressure on with his axes. And Unher, I think, should be pretty strong in this matchup because he's just very strong at boxing. If it was a more weaker boxer as the ADC, then that Chuck would have a bit more presence to really bully that lane harder. Ring of Spears has gone down onto name changes. Does pop the ultimate though to disengage from that one. Spork's getting zoned very, very far back. Can they make anything happen here? There is the ultimate from Freya. Picks up the kill. A lot of damage, and here comes Biggie. A little bit late to the fight, but popped his ultimate. And Gruffdogger is solo. Nice route from Biggie. Will lock him in place. And name change will pick up the kill. So 1-for-1 at the left lane. Just clashing heads. Not really much damage, but Red Oxide's getting pretty low. Does have the leap, so he can disengage. Relative safety. Zuckerberg wants to go in deep. He won't find the burst. And now he's going to have to run back through the tower. Can Biggie land the root? Does he have it? It's on cooldown. Zuckerbudge will get away from that one. Arachne running through some wards. Would go for the mid-Harpies. So they both have respawned. So a 1-for-1 in the end, but it looks as though it will go over to Team Incite because they have the positioning to go for the Harpies. Other than that, Red Oxide, he's still going in very, very deep. Subfloor drugs are constantly poking him down. The farm is still very even. 16 stacks on the Devourer's Gauntlets. And a Heartseeker coming out of Subfloor Drugs, which is very risky. You can lose a lot of those stacks when you die. But it will give Chuck a lot of damage if he's able to get those stacks rolling. From what I've seen, that is the first itemization choice standard on Chuck. I did read a bit of a guide by Zapman from Dignitas. So that seems to be what's up. I'm sure we'll also see him go for a Witchblade, Quinsize, all that good stuff. Runeforged Hammer as a sort of a 5th or 6th defensive item. We'll see. So there is a uncommon sash onto Agni, so he's going to be going for that Warlock sash. Going to be wanting to have that tankiness, and I think it's definitely very important to do so. It just really gives you a lot more ability to stay around in those team fights, rather than having to disengage the moment you blow all of your cooldowns. Very, very important to do so, especially as Agni. If you want to do the extra damage with your dash, you have to sort of dash inwards, which can get you caught. So having that health definitely makes things nicer. And also you want to be staying in an auto attack range, because the more auto attacks you get, it does reset your passive. So You have more damage if you auto-attack more, but auto-attacking more, it does make you vulnerable because you have that movement speed slow, and generally they're pretty low range. So I think yeah, that bit of health definitely is nice to have on Agni. Other than that, Floor Drugs, he's in the lane by himself. Biggie's moving in, but it may be a little bit too late. But he's doing such a fantastic job at 1v2ing. There is the ultimate. Can he burst down Red Oxide? One more axe comes through. Desert Fury goes for a lot of damage. Biggie couldn't quite get the body block in time. Will get the return kill. Nice play there by Floor Drugs, but a little bit bold without his support. There was a kill as well from Name Change, shutting down that Odin, which can be quite punishing to do. For the record, I haven't actually mentioned this is a best of 3 series, so that's something more to look forward to. The stakes aren't quite as high. If they lose this game, it isn't the end of the series. I think best of 3 is pretty reasonable, given the general short game length of Smite compared to other MOBAs. It gives you the potential to do those best of 3s, where, say, a best of 3 LoL or Dota would be pretty long and not exactly ideal. Warlock Sash onto Aphrodite as well. Yeah, that's a very standard item. Same thing, essentially. You just want to have the extra health so you can just be a bit more aggressive. You get the magic power too, so it's really just everything you want to have. No complaints there. Mid Harpy spawning up pretty soon. Incite have a little bit of a gold lead, but nothing exactly significant. Looks as though Team Kamikaze, they have the timer on it, but they weren't quite able to contest them. Name change on the Arachne, going for the left Harpies, but a full rotation from Freya and from Athena as well. May get caught out of position. The taunt comes through. Fair bit of burst. We'll have to back away from that one. Agni gets his ultimate for a fair bit of damage too. And they will take those Harpies once again. So really nice control of these Harpies. Further solidifying their gold lead. Not by much though. Biggie walks past a ward. So Red Oxide, he'll back away from that one. And here's another engagement. There's the ultimate from Arachne, but really these engagements, they haven't been quite full committed. They've generally been a lot of disengaging. No one really wants to get their hands dirty. But I guess that's the potential when you have a team comp that has so many ways to disengage. That's to be expected. But it will definitely limit the kill potential without that ultimate available. The Nightcrawler on Arachne really needs that to chase people down. Well, it helps. So blue being taken. It's very, very important to secure that one. Allows you to clear so much easier, just throwing out those spears. If you're out of mana, you can't really spear, and then it makes it a lot harder to keep up with the farm. Let's have a look at the gold worth between these two hunters. 5,700 for Floor Drugs, 5,400 for Red Oxide. So far, this Chuck ADC, it's definitely working well for Incite. And especially when they start to rotate more and start to go for those objectives. I think it'll bring a lot more to the table than what the Arno will. It's interesting though, I did actually watch the pick and ban phase. Apollo wasn't picked. Apollo was not banned. And they definitely could have both picked him, but they decided not to, for some reason. Not exactly sure why, if it's just a personal preference of the players themselves, or maybe they don't quite like having the Apollo in the team comp itself, thinking that they want to have more engage potential. Apollo's just really strong for his split pushing, amongst other things. Yeah, that's the power of the Rain Dance. You just can't poke Chuck out of the lane. He will just sustain for days. He's been leveling at second as well after his axe throw. Thunder Strike. So, yeah, really strong. Especially because when you don't have a Dev Gauntlet, you really need to have that sustain. Otherwise, you will just get poked out. So, I think it definitely makes a lot of sense. Bit of a rotation around the Gold Fury. Is this going to be taken? Sentry Ward did clear out the wards. Team Kamikaze, they blind for now. Isn't being started. No, it is being started. Is there a Hog 3? There is a Hog 3 indeed on the side of Biggie. But it will be reset. They can't take that one. Nice call, not getting too greedy. Still grouping around it. Mid Harpies are spawning soon. They want to take this one, and I think that they really can. They have the better engage comp here with the Shark, with the Aphrodite. As long as they don't all get caught within the Ring of Spears, I think they should be fine to do this. But it all will come down to the positioning. Especially if someone starts to get really aggressive in this duo lane on the left side. If anyone gets caught, or if anyone dies, then it probably will result in a Gold Fury. Here comes Name Change looking for the gank onto Red Oxide. Can they burst him down underneath the tower? Athena ult coming through. And there is the Aegis as well, but it won't buy enough time. The Spear for the knockback. Sub-Floor picks him up. There's an engagement. Ring of Spears being thrown down. Incite not looking too strong. They drop 2 members, but nice roam from Temperwolf. Gets some great damage with the Rain Fire. Biggie gets his ultimate down. Will there be enough damage? Temperwolf gets a burst onto Sin Tage. Rough Drugs has to disengage from that one. Picklefinger looking very strong in this fight. So a 2 for 3 in the end. Team Kamikaze. No, not done just yet. Gruff Dogger gets caught out. Nice route from Biggie that will secure the 3v3. And from this, looks like no one's going to be able to go for the Gold Fury. Not enough damage to take that one down. But still, Zuckerberg, he sticks around. A risky move. No, they're going for the Gold Fury. They do have the Hog 3 on Biggie. And there's no wards as well. They did clear it out with the Sentry ward. But it must be pretty obvious given the amount of wards nearby. Let's see if Team Kamikaze, they're going to invade this one. Here comes Sub-Floor Drugs. Wow, a very, very bold move. But it has paid off. Hog 3 will take that one down. Incite pick up the Gold Fury. Nice move. And Team Kamikaze, they surely heard that one. Very, very important Sentry ward. Giving you the vision advantage is just so crucial because really, that one could have been contested easily. There were a few members nearby and there was no damage. Not until Chuck showed up, so they couldn't really fight. It was just because they had the Wisps for the heal that they could stick around and take a lot of damage from that Gold Fury. Other than that, though, damage camp spawning soon. Sintage, is he going for a steal? Maybe just a gank onto Name Change. Behind end levels, and so far, Odin has been doing very well for himself. They're going to dive this one by the looks of it. The tower isn't there. Name Change in a bit of trouble. Does get taunted. Not taunted. But does disengage from that one. Of course, Odin, not Athena. Little bit different physically. There's a blink as well of the Ring of Spears. Nice engagement. Only Temperwolf is caught. Will he get bursted down? He disengages from this one. Biggie's being focused. Is a little bit too deep. Nowhere to run. Spork's trying to keep him alive, but not able to. Team Kamikaze, they're getting these kills. Let's see where they go from this one. They can take the blue and even the damage camp as well. If they do scout that one. In the left lane, Sub-Floor Drugs and Red Oxide, they're still here clashing heads. No one's died yet in a direct 1v1 confrontation, but the lead is definitely there for Sub-Floor Drugs. As is Pen Boots. But so does Red Oxide. The only real advantage is that Cursed Blade. So far, this left lane has been very, very defensive, the duo lane. The supports have been roaming a lot, as you would expect, but the ADCs themselves really have been focusing on their farming, which you definitely can see in the net worth. I guess the exception of being Zuckerberg. He's highest in his team, so definitely making use. He's got his Jotun's Wrath, so he's going to be able to spam out his abilities pretty frequently, which is definitely what we want to be doing. Odin really is all about that burst that he's able to throw down from the lunge. And his Raven Shout, I believe it's called. Raven Shout, yes. And then, of course, the Ring of Spears when you want to all-in someone. Poke him down with a couple of volleys of the Leap Raven Shout combo, and then if you think there's kill potential, go in Balls Deep with the Ring of Spears. But Spork's going to get really hard to kill. Cooldown boots, as well as the Warlock Sass stacking up, as well as the Undying Love, Love Birds. Aphrodite's just really hard to kill. And really good in those extended engagements. Able to just constantly spam out your abilities. But Odin, the opposite, he's really good in those early, those quick bursts. Locking down members. Hopefully getting those key members caught. Getting Shark, getting Agni, because they can't escape. There's no way they can actually get out of that Ring of Spears. So those really are some ideal members. Not like there's an Apollo or anything that can just pop his chariot out. Not like an Ardenher that can leap or a Neith. Interesting rotations here. Not really sure what they were doing around that Gold Fury. A lot of wards, though. I guess they were just placing down some wards. They really do have this gold free lit up. But it won't be spawning for about 2 minutes. So Athena's getting pretty tanky. Almost has the sovereignty, and that's the same with Biggie. Very standard itemization for the Guardians. Able to go in deep, really use their utility. Nice burst from Sintage, from Sporks and name changes. Freya not very tanky by any means, not having any escapes either, only really having the Valkyrie's Discretion, which was already used. That's the problem with Freya. In that early mid-game, you can just get focused, and not really many ways to disengage from that. It's a jungle Freya, though. Normally, you see the ADC Freya. So, a bit of a big grouping in this mid lane from Incite. Are they going to try and push this tower? They do have Freya down, so they can possibly try, but probably won't be very successful. I think they're going to be able to stay around the Gold Fury, get the mid Harpy, see if they can find a pick. Because they still can't really 5v5 under that Gold Fury. They need to pick someone first, and then from that pick, secure that Gold Fury. I think that's what they're going to be trying to do here. Chuck just backing away at a really nice time, has the Witch Blade completed. Going to be able to box pretty effectively with that as well. Also has that good AoE debuff, slowing down the attack speed. Physical power, rather, and attack speed. So it's definitely a nice teamfight item. Everyone's here in this fight. Sintage a little bit late. Are they going to try and poke this one off? It's tense. You gotta be careful of the taunt from Athena. That can spill a lot of disaster. That's the shifting sands comes through. Stun and didn't land from Red Oxide. Getting collapsed upon, but he will back away. Interesting positioning from Team Kamikaze. They're kind of all over the place. Red Oxide off to the side. Not exactly where he wants to be, but it will be Zuckerberg's going in deep. And there drops Gruff Dogger. Meanwhile, Red Oxide coming from the back. Nice stun. Desert Fury doing a lot of damage. Temper Wolf gets incredibly low, but Sub-Floor Drugs falls. And Red Oxide, he's still in the fight. He hasn't been focused. He really needs to be focused because he just has so much single target damage. Biggie having to back away from this one. Team Kamikaze, they may secure this Gold Fury. 2 kills only at the cost of their support. But Temper Wolf goes back in and gets a kill with Spork. Name changes are still around here as well. Red Oxide, he's a little bit caught. He's kind of cut off from his retreat path. Gets the stun from the kiss. Nowhere to run. He's going to have to go through the tower. Is he trying to get the... Oh, nice juke. He gets the leap, but Sporks is still there. Has the stun. Better damage as well. Nice rain fire, but the Aegis keeping him alive for now. Really, really nice juke. He baited it out and then leaped away as the vision was out of the way. There's a Ring of Spears come down. Gold Fury is very low. Who's going to take this one? Name Changer's in a bit of trouble. Will get taken up by the looks of it. Does get the ultimate from... Oh, no, the ultimate from... After not at all, but the Gold Fury went over to... Ooh, I missed it. I think it was Kamikaze. Actually, let's look at the Hog cooldowns. That'll tell us. That'll reveal the secret. Yes, it was indeed Team Kamikaze. Hog 3, Biggie, couldn't quite make it land, so... I'm surprised Name Changes didn't die, but that's really the power of the Aphrodite's. I just assumed the ult went down because he didn't die, and I don't exactly understand how. But has the heals, has the movement speed. Nice to have. So the gold is still very, very close. This is a very tense game, and especially as it's a best of 3 series. Could go for quite some time. I'm not really going to call it. I think it really is either man's game. The Odin has been going well. That's something that I was concerned about, but so far it has been going very, very well for Zuckerberg, and really for the team as a whole. I think Sub-Floor Drugs will transition into the team fights better than what this Anhur will, but that last team fight wasn't very well played by Incite, I don't think, because they just didn't focus down that Anhur. Red Oxide wasn't touched the whole time, so he was just doing so much damage unchecked. And that's just really not how you play against a hunter, really, no matter what god it is specifically. Spear of the Magus from Agni. So it's going to be shredding the magic protections. It's interesting. Generally, whenever you see Spirit of the Magus, it's because there's multiple magic power gods. Is Arachne magic power? Well, never mind, that's one moment. Bit of an engagement, it seems, near those harpies. But not quite committing to it. Okay, there's Aphrodite. I'm not sure about name change, though, on that, the Arachne. I'm just checking that out now. Not sure. Anyway. I'm sure there's a reason. Very, very hard tier teams. So still a grouping in the mid lane. Very, very passive game, I must say. Not really many aggressive rotations. Especially on the left lane. No one's really been focused. Either the Chuck or the Anhu. They haven't really tried to just gank those ADCs. It's been more about just standing off and poking around those Gold Furies. But Sintage may get caught. Kiss does land. No follow-up, it seems. Biggie is moved back up. Can he find a route? Yeah, he does. Oh, no. Not quite. Was that an Aegis? A bead, sorry. Yeah, it was a bead. So that's why the route didn't go through. So burning that one for 90 seconds. Very, very strong. Sub-floor drugs, he takes away the blue buff too. Nice work. Will hinder just a little bit, giving him that edge in that dual lane, which he still has just a little bit. Picklefinger getting a bit low. Nice knock-up. And the root as well. Ring of Spears comes down. Picklefinger, he's still looking pretty strong though. That is the power of John Kui. Biggie is being focused, but he really shouldn't be the target as that tanky Sylvanas. And hey, no one dies. This is just such a low death game. Surprising. Oh, but meanwhile, it's not over just yet. Sub-floor dog goes in for the engagement. Will he pop his ultimate? There it goes. Does get the silence, but no stuns. Picklefinger gets bursted down. Timberwolf picks him up. What are they going from this one? Are they going to dive? They're going for the dive, but it will be the leap away, and that turret will get taken out. Zuckerberg goes back in, but not a very good move as he does get taken out. Not very tanky is that Odin. And the thin ult coming through onto Red Oxide. The counter engages a bold move in a 3v5, but the taunt gets all of them. Nice work. Desert Fury bursts down Temperwolf. Sub-floor drug's going to have to run away from this one. Valkyrie's discretion will get a snipe. Not quite. Sub-floor drug survives. Grafdog got chased down by name change. Nice work. They actually got a kill from that 3v5. That's the thing for you. Really able to join those fights. Despite just respawning in the base. But Incite, they will take those mid-harpies away. God Fury spawning soon. No one actually has wards on it. I still have to wait for the respawns before they really can secure that one. Damage buff was also up for the steal, but no wards. So they didn't really know what to do with it. But they got the tower, they got some kills. Incite, they are ahead, but really the difference, once again, it is so small. Incredibly narrow. Tight game. Name change being a bit aggressive. Picklefinger getting quite low, but there is Odin. Won't land his combo. Speed buff was reset. Sintage had to try and join the fight. That almost happened. This Arachne is getting very powerful. Has the Executioner, Jotun's Wrath, Pen Boots finished up, and already having the Balanced Blade, so really able to get those 1v1s. Red Oxide, speaking of 1v1s, he's going for the Gold Fury. Sub-floor drugs is moving in. That's going to reset that one. Nice try by Red Oxide, but alas, not in time. Sentry Ward has been placed by Kamikaze. They have the vision on the Gold Fury for now. Incite rotating through the mid lane. Name change a little bit far back. Going for the fight, it seems. Blowing all of the rain fire, which is a bit of a shame. You really want to have those stacks up for the Gold Fury engagement. Gives a lot of the burst from Agni if he can't use his ultimate. Definitely some interesting positioning. They're starting the Fire Giant. Very risky move, given they didn't have vision where the team was. Ring of Spears goes down. Meanwhile, in the front lines, very scattered for Incite. They're all over the place. Ultimate from Chuck doing a lot of damage, but Grafjocker, he's going to fall nonetheless. Zuckerberg's going to have to disengage. He's very, very low. They're getting picked off one by one. Desert Fury not going to have enough damage to secure a kill. Stun comes through from the Kiss. 3 kills for Slub Floor Drugs. He's looking absolutely huge. Sinchit, he gets a snipe onto Timberwolf. He's getting chased down by that tree. Is there a blink from Sylvanas? Can he close the gap for the root? Doesn't have a blink, he has to shoot the shell. Sub Floor Drugs can chase pretty well though. Nice banish. Sticking around for it. Risky moves coming out of Sintage. There's the Aegis. Sub Floor Drugs can he get the 1v1. He can't, but he can get the 2v1 with the help of Sporks. Nice kiss coming through for the stun. Are they going for the Fire Giant? Oh, I think they are. A bold move, Kamikaze. A bold move. Especially with the Red Oxide nearby. It did work last time for them, but now Red Oxide, he knows what's up. And a Phenol coming down as well. Taunt connects. Sub Floor Drugs getting very low. The Lava did a bit of damage as well from the Fire Giant. This could be very bad news for Incite, but there is the blink away. Combat blink away even from Sporks. Biggie is so tanky. Being body blocked. Nice body blocks. And the stun from Anher. Biggie will fall. That Fire Giant was a very bad move. The Gold Fury would have been much safer. Or really just try and get the middle turret. They didn't have vision of where they were. And with only 3 members up. Yes, they did have the Hog 3. But with no damage, they can't take it down fast. And I think that's put Kamikaze really back in the game, especially if they rotate for this Dragon nope, not Dragon, the Gold Fury right away. They have vision, well they did have vision. I cast a lot of other games. Last time I casted LoL, I referred to the champions as gods, so I think I've officially made the transition from LoL to Smite. Started off the other way around, I kept saying champions instead of gods in Smite. But I'm kind of over League. Getting pretty monotonous, pretty bland, I must say. So, Kamikaze, they're looking for the Fire Giant, or just clearing out these wards as the first step. Seems they're going to be a bit more cautious, won't make the same mistake that Incite did. Looking for some picks, perhaps? Incite, they're not all regrouped just yet. Blinking in for the Ring of Spears, nice work. And only Timberwolf will get caught, but he is an incredibly huge catch. Timberwolf down, there goes so much teamfight potential. The AoE damage of Timberwolf really is something to be feared from Kamikaze, especially without the Hunter only having that ADC Chark. Interesting. Game is paused. I'm going to fast forward that. There we go. I'm glad I can fast forward pauses. That is a good thing about doing replays rather than doing it live. So I think Zuckerberg's a little bit caught, but he should be fine. Disengage from this one. Nice root comes through. Shark is going to have not enough to secure him. Odin looking a little bit tanky with the hide of the Urchin. Oh, I think Sporks is a little bit caught in a bit of trouble. 5-man grouping from Kamikaze. They're right near this Fire Giant. They won't go for it yet, though. They're playing it very smart. They will get the recall, but they will get a pick. It seems Banish comes through. And it's a 4v4 for now. Ultimate from Sub Floor Drugs gets the silence, but he's very squishy, having to run away from himself. And there's the damage from Red Oxide having a single target burst. Desert Fury is absolutely bursting. Red Oxide was huge in this fight, especially with the help of Sintage. They secured 2 kills for free. And there drops Sporks. Picklefinger able to chase him down with the recall demons. That's going to be a Fire Giant, and this time around it seems Team Kamikaze, they have this one secured. No chance for a steal, only Timberwolf, but he doesn't have much hope. He will escape this one, but now with the Fire Giant and a pretty significant gold lead, and he's going to fall as well. Ring of Spears on a relatively low cooldown with the Jotun's Wrath. It's going to be objective after objective. Can they take the Phoenix as well? Or perhaps just the Gold Fury would be quite safe. The Phoenix should be fine. Going to have the extra damage from the Fire Giant. Only Biggie to defend. He can't do much. They're going to go for him. Ultimate comes through, but he's just not enough health to survive against all 5 members. That's the deer side. This could well and truly be the game. Kamikaze, nope, they're going to back away. Once again, playing it safe. Playing a lot more conservative than what Incite are, and it seems that it's definitely working in their favor. Game pause once again. I'm going to have the power of the fast forward. It's making me feel quite smug right now. I care not for your pauses. I am the fast forward control man. I don't know. So that's, well, I missed that a little bit, but that's 2 towers down. 3 from that Fire Giant. Gold Fury rotation too. This gold lead is now getting absolutely out of hand. Nope, they're going right for that left lane. Will they get both of these towers? Risky as Incite, they are respawning. Not quite. So outer turret is taken off. Only one tower stands. Alright, Phoenix has been taken. Very, very important if you want to go for that Gold Fury, but it won't even matter as Red Oxide, he has the 1v1, taking that one down, no problems at all. Rest of the team to secure it. Does pop the Hog 3. And now they're recalling. They must have a lot of gold on hand. Yeah, they have heaps. Up to 3,000, in fact. So that will be a pretty big item spike. Divine Ruin coming out of Zhuangqi will be reducing the healing. A very, very nice pickup against the Aphrodite. That reduced healing is just so punishing. Especially from the Sylvanas as well. And even sub-floor drugs on the Chuck. There's 3 ways of healing. So really having the Divine Ruin, I think, is a fantastic choice. Even more healing would be nice. Say perhaps if Zachteberg, if he went for the... I forget what it's called, but the Jotun's Wrath equivalent of the healing reduction. Brawler's Beat Stick, that's what it is. Yes, that's quite nice to have in that lane. Well, really, yeah, I guess any lane when there's healing, especially when a team that has 2 or 3 healing gods. Not exactly that common that you see that. They are going for the inner turret now. Looks like this one will be for free. Incite out of position, getting out-rotated. What hope is there left? Not really much, as the gold lead is 10k. It's more than the average amount. Not exactly ideal. Fire Giant is still active. And that's the spiked shell coming through. Shell of absorption, rather. Phoenix being started. Ring of Spears comes down. Who's going to get caught? Only Biggie. But Red Oxide has to disengage, but Picklefinger very, very strong on that Zhuangqi. Does take down Name Change. Meanwhile, Sub-Floor Drug is being focused. He's not that tanky, popping their ages, but it won't buy him enough time. Oh no, he escapes that one. Nice work from Spork. Sintage gets the snipe in the end. Picklefinger drops. Temperwolf going to have some pretty good damage still, but he is getting focused. Not good in this extended engagement. He blinks out of it, but banished into the air. He's going to get caught. Not quite the deer side just yet, but there's no damage left. Only Sporks and Biggie. They can't hold this one. Not with all 4 members. Well, 4 out of 5 members. Picklefinger isn't exactly the best pusher on that Zhuangqi. Biggie, he's dies for really no reason, but I think this is game over. Red Oxide on a 7 kill streak. Deer side, and that is it. All 3 Titan. Oh, nope. All 3 Phoenixes. All 1 Titan down. And that's it, folks. Game number 1 of Incite vs Kamikaze for the best of 3 series of the Cybergamer Smite ladder. I'll be back with the second match of this best of 3 series. I am the machine of the General Gentlemen. Thanks for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 2 of Kamikaze vs Smite for the Cybergamer ladder. Here we are in this best of 3. This is 1-0 so far. Team Kamikaze already having their lead, as we did see in the first game. Maybe a bit of an early engagement here. Zuckerberg getting collapsed upon. Doesn't quite land the charge prey. Biggie so close with that Sobek one, knocking him into the team. Could have been very, very deadly, but nonetheless, won't be a first blood just yet. Let's go over our teams, folks. Team Kamikaze there, the blue team this time around. Zuckerberg as our Nox, Sintage as the Thor, Picklefinger as the Vulcan, Red Oxide as the Apollo, Gruff Dogger once again as the Athena. As for Incite, that is Sporks as the Vamana, Name Change as the Nemesis, Temperwolf, here's the Zhuangqi, Sub-Floor Drugs as the Ram, and Biggie as the Sobek. So, a bit different team comps. I think the most notable thing is a standard Hunter coming out of Sub-Floor Drugs on that Ram. Ram versus Apollo, very, very standard. Generally regarded as being the 2 best hunters at the moment. Sobek's different. Not exactly top tier, but he has good pick potential with his charge prey, and he has a lot of CC across the board, but it can be quite hard to land and hard to play efficiently. So generally, you don't see many Sobeks, but when you do, like, they're really strong because the person obviously plays them a fair bit and has mastered them pretty effectively. And we do have a Nox, which is cool because Nox has received a significant buff in the latest patch. A few things. mainly her ult no longer has the tether, so you don't actually have to be within range for it to activate, so you can play a lot safer with Nox, not really worry about getting caught. And the Shadow Barrier, it lasts for 2 seconds now, so it's a lot safer and a lot easier to time that ability. So I think Nox is going to be pretty common now, definitely some significant changes. And even Vulcan too, he got nerfed. His Magma Bomb doesn't quite have as much range, and it has like an indicator where it's landing, so it's easier to dodge, which I think is nice because Vulcan was really strong before. So already Incite, Biggie and Subfloor Drugs once again having the momentum in this duo lane, really pushing him back. Charge Break lands onto Grafdogger. Can they secure a kill? Subfloor Drugs not going to have enough damage this time around. Rom's very strong early with that Astral Arrows. He generally does push that lane pretty hard in. Red buff already taken from Pickle Finger. Incite going for their damage buff now. Another Charge Bray lands. This could be deadly for Grafdogger. Subfloor Drugs, can he secure the more auto attacks? Red Oxide was body blocking a couple of those, it seemed. So Grafdogger will survive this one again. Probably will back away this time around, though. You gotta be careful at Sobek. He can catch you and really pull you in. Especially if he lands a nice sickening strike and knock you back, but generally it's hard to actually have that positioning to do so. So, as for Vamana, he's also received a bit of a nerf. His ultimate Colossal Fury doesn't quite have as much power in the late game, but still he's a very, very strong pick. He just has so much teamfight presence. When he does pop that ultimate, he just goes in deep, has his AoE auto attacks, has a huge amount of health regen and damage. I really quite like mine. That's the Thor ult coming through. Will land onto Subfloor Drugs. Can they take him out? The Mjolnir's attunement for the teleport and the Berserker Barrage. Subfloor Drugs looking very, very dead to me once the cooldown's reset, but won't even matter because the speed boost is there on Sintage, so he gets that last auto attack for the first blood. Here comes the roam from Jonquay and the Vulcan Earthshaker. Subfloor Drugs is very low. Demons get that kill in the end. 2 kills, maybe even 3 kills for Incite. Red Oxide out of mana. He can't use the moves. Name changes on the chase. Nemesis definitely can chase you down. Vulcan gets a Magma Bomb, but it won't get the stun or the knockback. I'm not sure how. Is there a beads? There is no... Yeah, beads. A really early beads. And that was actually pretty important, because that purification beads, it prevented the knockback, which allowed that last auto attack. So it's really odd to see beads that early, but in this case, it definitely paid off. Incite looking strong. And I think they're playing just a bit more seriously this time around. They have a bit more standard team comp. Not having any of that Chuck ADC tomfoolery. The only thing that's really off meta is Sobek, which doesn't mean he's bad or anything. Not by any means. So let's look at the items just quickly. But Mana's already got the Stone of Gaia, so we'll have a lot of sustain. And I do quite like that pick up against Nox, because Nox is a very poke-heavy laner. Able to really poke you down pretty hard. So, especially because Runeforged Hammer is not very a good choice against a magical solo laner. You really only want to have that if you're versing a physical for that armor. So, definitely a better pickup, I think. And the Warlock Sash will be coming out for Suckerburge. Pretty standard. So we do have Sobek placing down some pretty aggressive wards. Very, very nice scouting for those ganks. And really, I guess the rotations more than anything from the mid lane. Yeah, that's definitely going to be preventing ganks, going to be preventing the roams. So should be pretty safe in that lane for now. Still, Apollo can roam around, and Athena too. It's a very, very mobile lane. If someone gets caught, Athena can ult in. Apollo can eventually use his chariot to join the fight. So let's look to see if there are some engages like that, especially with Thor as well. With his Anvil of Dawn. So basically as mobile as you can get in terms of team comps here for Team Kamikaze. They're going to have to do a lot of roams to really make use of that. Especially because Nemesis is just such a strong... a duelist, able to box very effectively and does scale very, very well. Generally outscaling Thor, at least, in terms of those team fights directly. But Thor can have a lot of presence in the early game. And we do see Picklefinger getting caught. Pops the Magma Bomb. Can he escape this one, though? The Recall Demon's coming through. Whoops. Aegis going to be keeping Timberwolf alive for now, but the Berserker Barrage doing just too much. I need to find out how to turn off that auto slowdown, because it's kind of annoying me. How does one do such a thing? Bear with me. I hope I'm not missing anything. It's here somewhere. I know it is. I should probably pause it. Too late. I can't back down. My pride is intact. Okay, well. Don't worry, I'm a professional. I do this all the time. I know what I'm doing. Okay, I think I'll give up. No, never mind. I'll give up. Hopefully it won't happen again. I think it's L. Didn't happen last game. Anyway, never mind that. Let us not dwell. Let us not linger. Let's get back into the action. Dev Gauntlet's already finished for our hunters. Not a surprise to see. Subfloor Drug's a little bit ahead. 5 stacks. Nothing to write home about, though. Nothing to completely blow your world. So we do actually have Sintage. He's already got his kill, so he's going to have a bit of extra damage compared to Nemesis. And if Thor does start to snowball, he can get pretty deadly, just constantly ganking your lane. Especially when he gets that Jotun's Wrath, getting that cooldown reduction, he's just always ganking all the time. Definitely a lot of that map presence. Warding him out's very important. And, oops. You don't really ward out Thor the same way you would ward out most ganks. You gotta sort of like ward out the Fire Giant or the Gold Fury. That's where he ults from. You want to see him when he's ulting. Or at least if you can have a ward sort of before he walks into the ult spot. You can hear and see him, but it's not always something you pay attention to if there's a lot going on, especially in your lane. Biggie's roaming around. Maybe looking for wards, I think. No, he's out of wards. Not really sure what he was doing. Collapsing into the mid lane, perhaps? No, they're just... Incite, they're definitely looking for something here. I'm not really sure, to be honest, what that is. Maybe to try and gank Picklefinger. They can definitely do that pretty well with the Sobek. If he can land his charge prey, then it's such a strong way of setting up those ganks. But they couldn't find anything off of it. They are fully warded as well, so they didn't really have much hope of actually securing that. We did see Picklefinger. He was positioning quite defensively. Name change, getting the speed buff. Very, very important to do so. And we do see Suckerberg and Sintage perhaps going to gank out Sporks in this right lane. They did run through a ward, so a lot of vision and not exactly a lot of ganks, but hold that thought because here comes name changes. Are they going to dive this one? No, they won't. Of course, the ward did reveal, so really good ward coverage across the board. It's really preventing these ganks from having any particular impact. That being said, though, Incite, they need a ward on Gold Fury. They don't actually have anything there. But for now, the mid-harpies, they will be taken. One for one, it seems. If Kamikaze can take this one. Maybe not. Incite going for a 3-man rotation into it. Yeah, and that's definitely Nox poking. It's what Nox does. Sporks can all in well when he does pop the ultimate, but when ults don't go down, then that Vamana is going to be very strong. Sorry, that Nox is going to be able to poke really hard. Has a longer silence now as well, which will be preventing a bit of counterplay coming out of that Vamana from Sporks. Nox is strong. Once again, a bit of a grouping near the mid lane. Oh, Biggie's returning to his lane, it seems. Gonna try and bait. Nope. I thought that recall was a bait. Biggie moving in for it, but not quite. Gold Fury, it's up. Hasn't quite been looked at just yet, but there's a sentry ward from Incite, so they will have the vision superiority for now. Vulcan's very, very strong at poking the Gold Fury, especially with the Nox as well. So if there's a Gold Fury standoff where they're both sort of grouping around it, the Mega Bomb can get people caught. If they get knocked back and there jumps in Athena for the taunt, that could work out very well for Kamikaze. Sporks, will he pop the ultimate? Not quite. He's happy just to take his engagement where he can. He does have the regen, so he can trade, even if it isn't very effectively, and still be fine to regen it back up. Zuckerberg getting quite low. Does he have any sustain? No, only has the Warlock Sash. So it's not exactly sustain. So that works out well. If you can charge prey lands, Grafdogger looking very, very bad. Too much damage and no chance for escape. Subflux picks him up. The Thor ult comes down. But he's a little bit too late to the fight. Red Oxide off to the side. Not really doing much. But the Recall Demons was popped from Jean-Qui. Not to much success. That's the ultimate from Sobek. Looking to find Sintage. He jumps over the wall. Name change on the chase. Has a lot of movement speed. Magabomb knocking him back. Berserker Barrage doing some fantastic damage. But the shield perfectly timed. Keeps him alive. But looks as though Red Oxide will pick him up in exchange. Meanwhile, the Gold Fury is taken by Incite. Definitely worth the trade. 1 for 1. And the Gold Fury. Nice work. Name change definitely did what he did well. That's what assassins do. Chase after someone, get the kill, zone them out of the fight. And behind it, got the Gold Fury, securing that gold lead. Very important to do so. Giving them a bit of a gold lead. Red Oxide's trading very well against subfloor drugs. They both have the fully stacked Dev Gauntlets, so they should be able to get that health back up with relatively little ease, rather, I guess. But here comes Grafdogger. Can he land a taunt? Mez won't land, and that was a crucial one. If the Mez did land, that would have been a taunt follow-up, and probably the kill too. So many what-ifs. So many. Incite are generally having pretty good control of these Harpies too, which is definitely adding to their gold lead. But I'm not really sure what the game plan is here for Incite. Are they going to try and gank these lanes? They can't really go for the left lane because Apollo has the chariot, so he's very safe, especially with the other moves. He's hard to gank, if I do say so. Another pause. Not really sure why. Oopsie. I should probably not go through those pauses. At times 16, that would be a constructive criticism. Maybe times 4 would do. So I don't go through like a lot of things. But anyway, back in the game. Still relatively passive. Team Kamikaze taking their buffs. We'll get reset. So nice work. There was water too. So Subfloor Drugs, he knew when he was going the blue, so he could interrupt that and reset that. And as a result, name change is coming for the rotation, and will steal that one away. So really, really nice move. Was able to avoid that buff, the ward. So takes that one for free, and Biggie's going to pick it up in the end, the blue buff. So a very, very nice play. That's the importance of deep warding. Mez comes through. Does prevent the charge prey from connecting. That Mez can be so powerful. Hard to use in those team fights because often people will accidentally focus them down and break it. But in those 1v1s, it just buys you a lot of time. I think it's 2 seconds. 2.3 max level. So it definitely can be really good for escaping. Mesmerize plus the moves. Very hard to chase down or kill Apollo. And let's look at his mana because he's going to run out of mana eventually. Depends how much he spams out his wave clear. He's so beautiful. That being said, Subfloor doesn't have his blue buff either, but he can take that one whenever he so desires. With the help of Biggie. But he's just roaming around. Really wanting to get these wards down. There's a lot more wards on the right side for Team Kamikaze. That Gold Fury definitely becoming an option if there is a rather one-sided team fight. So the wards are a lot more important on that side now that the Gold Fury is on cooldown as well. So you'll see those wards shift in their priority from left side to right side. Just going to be going for those mid Harpies. Not exactly a surprise to see. Look at our right lane though. How is this lane going? Pretty even. The net worth, not exactly much of a difference. Zuckerberg, a little bit ahead. Not a surprise to see, given how much lane bully Zuckerberg has had over Sporks and over Mana. Other than that, inside, they just have Incite. They have just a bit of a gold lead overall because of that Gold Fury. Bit of a grouping in the mid lane. Are they going to stick around, or will they rotate somewhere? The Gold Fury spawning soon, so the Sentry Wards are probably going to be bought if they recall in time for that Gold Fury to respawn. And you got to be careful on the solo lane. If you stick around for just a little bit too long, you could miss a Gold Fury fight, especially as Nox is very immobile. Nox doesn't have any dashes or anything like that, any way to really roam between the lanes. But getting caught by Sporks, this looks like a good engagement for Sporks so far. Deciding not to commit to it entirely. He backs away from it. He does get caught by the stun. Probably why he didn't stick around. And now if he engages soon, then he will have his Colossal Fury, and Nox will not have his ultimate, the Night Terror. So that's going to give him a pretty big edge. But the Gold Fury has been started by Incite. Can they take this one down? Incite looking like they have a great spot for it. Gruff Dog getting low. Will get taken out. No, escapes that one, but barely. So back on the chase. Gets it in the end. Very mobile with the charge prey. Even if you don't land, it's still a pretty big dash forward. And we did see Centage. He had to use his Anvil of Dawn to disengage from that fight. He was in pretty deep. Gold Fury was reset, but a really nice move by Incite. They've left it. They've gone for the Fire Giant instead. 20 seconds respawn timer on Red Oxide and Picklefinger. And they can't really take this one. There's no Hog 3 on the side of Team Kamikaze. So that's going to be the free Gold Fury. There's Athena coming with the ultimate. Can they get a kill at least? Yeah, no, that the Hog 3 was used in Incite. They took that one, but meanwhile, some kills may come out. Sinjis gets the kill with his Mjolnir. Biggie getting very, very low. Gruffdogger, if he lands the dash, he'll get the taunt. Taking tower shots for Mana, maybe I'll pick him off in the end. Yeah, gets one kill. And Timberwolf got one too, so that was 2 kills for free, really, and that Fire Giant. Incite, they played that one very, very well. So it was a nice try by Kamikaze because Gruffdogger did come in. Had the Hog 3 actually, so did have the Hog 3, but it had to use the ultimate to close the gap and get in there. So almost a steal. But now with that Gold Fury, Incite are looking like they'll have a pretty big lead. Especially with the way the team comps are going. They have a lot stronger team fighting directly. Team Kamikaze, they have a lot more mobility, which they haven't really been able to make use of. There hasn't been that many aggressive roams or aggressive ganks. It does come important late game, but still, when there's a comp that has a lot stronger team fighting and they have that gold lead and they just keep forcing fights, then they definitely look like they have a pretty strong edge. Especially as Nemesis can 1v1 any member of Kamikaze at this stage. Has that Quinn size finished, and that is a huge, huge power spike for that Nemesis with a Jotun's Wrath as well. Gold Fury being taken. Doesn't look like there's any vision on it. Kamikaze, they're blind, so it will get taken for free. Even if they did have vision, they might not have tried to steal it. I don't think they can really team fight at this stage. Nemesis is fed, Jonqui is fed. Vamana doesn't really need to get fed. He just pops his ult and he's such a huge presence in that fight nonetheless. Subfloor Drogs isn't doing fantastically, but he's still going to be having a lot of that single target damage with that Executioners, with that Dev Gauntlet. And just with that kit that Ram has. So I think the gold allocation is actually really good for Incite. Got that left outer turret as well. Can they go for the inner one? Name change, going around the back, looking to find a 1v1. Won't commit for it in the end. There is the Fire Giant, which does give them a lot of extra tower damage. They will just go for the siege directly. Gonna try and take it down. The tower's getting low and it will fall. Name change, gonna disengage. No problems at all. That's 2 towers from that Fire Giant. They're going for the middle outer turret as well. Inner turret even, in fact. So that Fire Giant just gives you so much potential to go for those turrets. And with that regen as well, even if you do get poked off, you can just sit back through the regen. Losing that 5 damage. But Biggie goes in very deep. He will get focused. Not quite getting the initiation that he wanted to. Does pop his ultimate, but he will die to Zuckerberg. Meanwhile, Drive Trigger falls, and Vermana's looking pretty huge. Pun intended. Does pop Zuckerberg out of this fight. Timberwolf gets the kill in the end with the Recalled Demons. It's hard to run away from that Jean Kui. Those Recalled Demons, they chase you down for days. So that was 2 kills, almost a third. Earthshaker comes through. Will it get Timberwolf? It won't, but it will get name change. And that's very important because Nemesis has a lot of damage, so that may have kept that Phoenix alive. Spooks and Redoxide are going to have a 1v1. Redoxide is very, very strong. He's landing every single auto attack. The only auto attack he missed is because Incite stunned him. That was just really nice play by Redoxide. Chariot comes through. Can he catch someone? He does find sub-floor drugs. This is a great turnaround for Kamikaze. They get 3 kills. Still behind in gold. They have all their Phoenixes too. So they're not out of this game by any means. But they're definitely on the back foot at this stage. It's gonna be hard for them to come back from this one. But if you believe in the Easter Bunny, I'm sure you can believe in this comeback. Let's have a look at the items again. Quinch size, Mystic, or Steel Mail, so possibly Sovereignty, probably, if not maybe even a Mystic Mail. So Sporks is getting tanky, but he's also getting a bit of damage too. Which I think is a good move, given how tanky Biggie is, especially because Biggie's going to be initiating. He's going to be jumping in, and he's going to be focused first, so it means that Sporks is going to be a bit safer to itemize a bit more offensively. If he was having to initiate, then obviously you'd want to have more defensive items, but I think that Quinn size will be very strong, especially with the AoE auto attacks, going to be giving the Quinn size a lot of extra chance to proc on multiple targets. Let's have a look at the damage dealt. Player damage. Yeah, Timberwolf very, very far ahead. Just having so much AoE damage in those team fights. That's why Zhuangqi is such a strong pick. Surprisingly, Kamikaze, they have a lot of player damage, but that is the charge break. That is exactly the initiation that Sobek does very well, and this is just a fantastic follow-up. Flawless from Incite. Earthshaker did a lot of damage, but it won't be enough. They're diving underneath the tower. Picklefinger not looking too safe either. 5 members are inside. They all want his cookies. Athena comes through with the ultimate, but she will just join the bloodbath of Team Kamikaze. Another clean and free dive. There's only Redoxide left. And he's going through his own split push against this left Phoenix. And that's going to allow the Fire Giant. He probably can take it. Name change? No, respawning just in time. Or recalling just in time to zone him back. So that split push completely failing as the Fire Giant being taken once again by Team Incite. But here comes Apollo. He will land onto Spork. Can he secure the kill? A little bit too late to prevent the Fire Giant. Mez comes through, but he won't get Sporks before Timberwolf takes him out. Risky going for the 1v4, because now it's going to be harder to defend without that Apollo. The best wave clear on his team. Consistent wave clear. Vulcan's great at wave clear, but when the 5 minions come through, you really want to have the consistent damage of a hunter. No Phoenixes just yet from Incite, but with this Fire Giant and with their gold lead, especially with Redoxide down, I'm sure they can take a Phoenix. They took so many objectives off of that last Fire Giant. Gold Fury is open as well, no wards nearby. Inside, I'm sure that's their Gold Fury at this stage. After being taken by Kamikaze, let's see if they can rotate for the Gold Fury. They have a good grouping, but I still think their team fight is a bit lacking. They really need to initiate. They need to have the momentum. They need to have Thor ult in, Apollo follow. Apollo follow. But it's hard for them to do that because they keep getting caught and Incite keep engaging. So they are really playing to their comp quite well, and they are countering the high mobile, the high engaged comp of Team Kamikaze by just not giving them the opportunity to do so. There drops that inner turret on the right lane. Not exactly a surprise to see that one go down. Are they going to go for the mid lane? We do have Rhyme with the left lane. He's going to be split pushing. And Apollo is recalling. I think they can split push at this stage. Sub-floor dogs definitely can 1v1 Red X side. They're taking a lot of damage from Zuckerberg. That Nox poke is pretty significant. Incite, I'm not quite sure what they're doing. They're rotating back and forwards between this left and the middle lane. I think they're just trying to catch Kamikaze out of position, especially if Biggie can land his charge break, catch someone, and follow up. That's how so many of these team fights have been going. Similar to Sylvanas, but he has the extra CC follow-up. This is going to be the engagement as his Mega Bomb comes through. Not going to be diving this one, not just yet. Still can't go for this middle Phoenix, but nice charge prey. And Red Oxide getting very, very Nemesis on the chase. Does take him out. This will be the beginning of the end, it seems. Sintage gets taken out as well. Sub-floor drugs running for his life. Sporks on the chase with that Colossal Fury, chunking him down. And that's the middle Phoenix gone. The right one as well was taken too. 2 Phoenixes down. Can Incite close this game? They have everything they need right now. Fire Giant as well. Kamikaze, they're desperate. They need to hold this Titan. Earthshaker comes through, but won't get any snipes just yet. Titan's being chunked down, but Graftalker, he will fall. Temper Wolf still having those powerful AoEs. Titan does get reset. They can't close the game just yet. Incite are also low. They need to back away, get their health, get their items. Fair bit of gold in hand. They can stick around with the Fire Giant regeneration as well. That's another option they can do. Try and catch one out of position. Looks like they're going for that one as well. Sporks is pretty low. Needs to wait for his ultimate again. But there goes the Phoenix. Very smart move, taking it down. It will keep Kamikaze contained. Stuck in their base. Not really many options other than to defend. Incite rotating for the Gold Fury. Oh no, they're just recalling. I think they're quite happy with how much gold they have. And this is going to be 6 or 5 items. Going to have to sell off this Boomba's Mask. The gold lead's significant. More than 10k. This is looking well and truly over to me. But still, it is one game for Team Kamikaze. So they're not out of this game just yet if they lose this round. It will go into the best of 3. A good way to start off our Cybergamer best of 3 match, I must say. 2 of the best teams in our very first match for CG. Not quite as close as our first round, though. A desperate struggle this time around, I think. The only struggle will be from Kamikaze, but name change, he gets a nice assassination. Nemesis is just so strong. Gonna have another one as well. Zuckerberg gets the stun, but it won't be enough, it seems. Slice and dies for a bit of damage. This is a very close one. Zuckerberg picks him up, but that's bought a fair bit of time for Incite to collapse upon the Titan. With name change, it will definitely limit their potential to close this game, but they have a lot of damage nonetheless. Earthshaker comes through. No damage at this stage from that Vulcan, and that's the Titan destroyed. Dies so quickly with all 3 Phoenixes down, having much less armor. So that is it. This will move on to our best of 3 game, but unfortunately, the third match actually bugged out and didn't actually record properly. So as much as I would love to cover the third game, alas, I am unable to. The replay system of Smite is pretty buggy, if I do say so myself. But I will go ahead and tell you who won the third game. In the end, it was Team Kamikaze that were able to pick up the third game. Shame we couldn't quite catch it, but congratulations to Team Kamikaze for picking that one up in the end. And that'll do it for me, folks. Thanks for watching.